go nne le tirisanommogo e gapegileng e re bona mo dingwageng di ntse di tsweletse mme re tla tsamaya re thotha dikgang tse ka bongwe mo phuthegong ena ya bobega dikgang e tshwanetse gore e be e simolola mo nakong nngwe le nngwe e sa hediseng pelo jaaka batautona ka bobedi ba tla ba buisa yone phuthego eno ya bobega dikgang e lela ntlha ba kopana mo dipuisanong mo hatsheleleng la Botswana mo dipuisanong tsa semmuso official working visit e re bonang tautona wa Zambia re Hakainde Hichilema a goroga mo malatsing a le mabedi mme tirisano phuthego e kgotsa lwena loeto le Benson le hela mo tseteng la ka moso mo tshokologong a morago ga gore bobedi jo bonne hatshe bo buisane ka dikgang ka boteng ja tsone gore di ka solegela mahatshe o mabedi ka tsela e ntseng jang e le ditiragalo tse re di bonang di diragala mo tsone mo KwaZulu tota ga borogong jone jaaka KwaZulu bridge le dingwe tse dintlha tse re tsa tsamaya re di bona di diragala mo nako ya gompieno sa hediseng pelo mokgweetsi sa goregile yo a tla ba goroga mo motsotsong sephato sa motsotso ke re Hakainde Hichilema tautona wa lehatshe la Zambia go tla go tsamaisa go tla go tshwaragana le phuthego ya bobega dikgang Benson e le gore e tabe e simologa mo nakong e sa hediseng pele mme mme kere ke dialo ke heta ka dintlhakgolo jaaka ba bona ba gorogela jang e lena tautona wa Zambia re Hakainde Hichilema a mogala ka tautona Dr. MOKGWEETSI MASISI re tla tsamaya re ba botsa ka dintlha dingwe tse di amang lehatshe la Botswana go dikgang tse di o hitlhela mo kgaolong ena ya Chobe o ka bua ka dikgang tsa poaching o ka bua kgang tsa the Kaza Univisa o ka bua ka dikgang tsa intertrade go sa tirisana mmogo bobedi ga mahatshe mabedi o ka di bua ka dikgang tsa thuto bontsi jwa Batswana mo kgaolong ya kaone ya Chobe ba isa bana ba bone go sekolo hatsana le la Zambia go ya go ithuta vice versa mme ka gore Benson makeme gone ga jaaka phuthego ya bobega dikgang ya taba e simologa e tsamaisiwa ke Masego Mosata who is the press secretary to the president.
Wetso gontse hela ka tsela e ntseng yalo ke tsa ke re bona gone ka ko Zambia re bona tota mo lehatsheng la rona la Botswana ka ko Kasane ko kgaolong ya Chobe re bona jalo gore tautona Dr. MOKGWEETSI MASISI wa mogela mo lekane wa gagwe le tautona wa Zambia kgang e le gone gore batle ba buisana le babega dikgang ba bua ka mahatshe o mabedi motho o ka tlhaloganya gore jaaka go buile gore lehatshe la Zambia le tswa kgakala la lehatshe la Botswana di dirisanya tota mo mehameng e harologane go simolola ka ngwaga tsa bo 1966 mme ebile lehatshe le la Zambia ke la mahatshe a ntlha tota go tlhoma embassy kana boemedi mo lehatsheng la Botswana ga o le monni wa lehatshe la Botswana o kile wa heta ka le molo o motona tota o bidwang go te main mall o tla itse gore embassy ya bone e ha gare ga mpa ya toropo gone ko mmolong o mme ebile ke embassy e leng gore ha o e leba le dikago tsa teng di dirilwe le ka ene kopore e leng gore ka nako eo lehatshe la Zambia e ne le humile ka kopore bobe go bua jalo le tautona pele tota bua one nation one Zambia re Kenneth Kaunda ka tsentseng jalo mme re mahatshe a tswang go go lowe tota e le mahatshe a mabedi a dirisanyang sentle bontle ba batla gakologanang ke gore mo dikolong tsa rona ha o le ba ka mohameng wa temothuo tota agriculture ne gona le barutabana ba ba harologaneng ba bantsi tota ba ba tswang go lehatseng la Zambia e le gore ba mo dikolong tsa rona tse di harologaneng dikolo tsa di junior secondary dikolo tsa di senior secondary le dikolo tse di kgolwane tota e le gone go neelana kitso mme ebile lehatshe la Botswana le lona ile la kwatabolotsa thata mo go ba Zambia mo kganyeng ya bo textile jalo le dio tse di harologaneng le rona lehatshe la Botswana lehatshe la Zambia le tswella ka go kwatabolotsa go le gontsi mo tsamaisong ya puso ya batho ka batho dilo tsa tshwanang le bo economy kana itsholelo gore e tsamaya ka tselentsenya e le mahatshe a e leng di a thuteng di bapile jaaka go ntse go tlhalosa gore le borogo re ne ra bo kopana jalo le lehatshe la Zambia le borogo bo botona e le gore tse signature building e le KwaZulu bridge e leng gore ga o ka ke wa tlhoka go boitse ga o ka ke wa tlhoka go bolemoga ga o heta kae le kae ko tlabong o ya teng mme mo nakong ya gompieno ne le o nthatile boti a tlhalosa jalo gore ba tsena mo buisanong jalo le babega dikgang ba buisa babega dikgang mme kgang e ileng ya a ntsha e utlwala ke yona gore kana lehatshe la Botswana le lehatshe la Namibia ba na le mono o rerwang wa gore seporo se ba kopanne seporo mme molekane wa bone le ene le tautona wa Zambia go lebega le ene a supile kgatlhego ya gore ga a batle go salla kwa morago o na le keletso tota ya go bona lehatshe la Zambia le tswa go borogong le ya go seporong e ntse e nna kganya go go kopana ditlhabololo tse tsa sennela ruri tse le gore jaaka o nthatile botiana tlhalosa di tla hegosa le gone go tokahatsa metsamao ya dithoto le batho mo boreng jwa kgaolo e ka kwano motswana wetso ke dumela gore mo go seno sebaka ke tlogelele mosate yo a leng ka kasane e le morwadisi e le motsamaisa tiro tota wa yone puisano eo le babega dikgang gore a tle a go tshware bontle re utlwe botautona gore mahatshe o mabedi hatshe la Botswana le hatshe la Zambia e le baeteledipele e le batshwarateu ba re tshwaretse eng make ba sutela
Dr. Masisi.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The communique for this working visit reads as follows. At the invitation of His Excellency, Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, His Excellency Mr. HICHILEMA, President of the Republic of Zambia, undertook a working visit to the Republic of Botswana from the 24th to the 25th January 2024. His Excellency Mr. HICHILEMA, President of the Republic of Zambia, and His Excellency Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, led their respective delegations consisting of cabinet ministers and senior government officials. The Zambian delegation included the Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, as well as Ministers of Infrastructure and Housing and Urban Development, Commerce, Trade and Industry, Fisheries and Livestock, and Mines and Mineral Development. During the visit, the two heads of state and government held official talks during which they had substantive and fruitful discussions on issues of mutual interest at bilateral, continental, and international levels. They noted with satisfaction the strong ties of friendship and fruitful cooperation that exist between Botswana and Zambia, as well as the peoples of the two countries, deeply rooted in historical, economic, cultural, and social ties. They further agreed to enhance the bilateral cooperation framework between the two countries by elevating the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation, JPCC, and the Joint Permanent Commission on Defense and Security, JPCDS, to a binational commission. The two heads of state also toured Kazungula Bridge, which is an important regional infrastructure gateway vital for trade and investment between the two countries as well as the region. The two heads of state further agreed to strengthen cooperation in respect of efficiency of service delivery at Kazungula Bridge One-Stop Border Post, and the operation and maintenance of Kazungula Bridge infrastructure. The two heads of state and government further agreed to strengthen bilateral cooperation by launching an enhanced program of cooperation within 2 months in Livingstone, Zambia, covering the areas of transport, mining and mineral value addition, agriculture and livestock, trade and investment, immigration, entrepreneurship, tourism, energy and health. The heads of state welcomed the cordial and fraternal atmosphere that characterized the proceedings and recommended the holding of regular meetings for monitoring, implementation, and evaluation of commitments. The two heads of state also witnessed the signing of a memorandum of understanding on immigration technical cooperation, which will enhance cooperation on immigration matters. His Excellency Mr. HICHILEMA, President of the Republic of Zambia, expressed his gratitude to His Excellency Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric Masisi, the government and the people of the Republic of Botswana for the warm welcome and hospitality extended to him and his delegation during their stay in Botswana. That is the end of the communique done in Kasane on the 24th January 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maribe, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, at this juncture, I will call upon members of the Fourth Estate to ask our esteemed Excellencies a question. We will do so by indicating our name and the media house to which we represent. May I see by a show of hand if you would like to ask a question? I see a hand there at the end. We will have 2 rounds of questions. In each round, we will have 4 questions. So members of the media, can we have 4 questions from you? One each. I have been directed that it will be 1 question each.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mompati Tlankane from Mary and the Monitor newspapers. My question is, what is the progress with establishing the Kazungula Bridge Authority, and whether it's in fact true that there's an idea to change the bridge's name to Zambezi, Trans-Zambezi Bridge? And just one more, at some point, Your Excellency, you indicated that Zimbabwe was back on board as part of the Kazungula Bridge project. So what's the current status? Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Tirelo Tostofel, Radio Botswana. My question firstly is for President Dr. MOKGWEETSI Masisi. Is there any chance for Botswana to see it joining Gaza, as it is evident it's a viable project? And then to the chairperson of Troika, we are seeing the emergence of political parties, especially for Botswana and South Africa, from the former presidents. What is your take as Troika chairperson, especially that you are seeing instability in the region?
Is there another hand?
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Ontatile Poti from BTV News. My question goes to President Dr. MOKGWEETSI Masisi first. Recently, last month, the G7 released a statement in regard to diamond, that all diamonds should go to Belgium for verification. And Botswana, being one of the diamond producing companies, has been affected by this move. I want to hear your thoughts on this one, especially when Africa is trying to use its mineral resources without the influence of the outside hand. And then the other question goes to the visiting president, Mr. HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, is in regard to the Gaza Uni visa. I want to know how much has the visa benefited Zambia, something that maybe Botswana can learn from you. Thank you.
Is there another question from members of the media? If there are no questions, Your Excellency, Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric Masisi, I humbly request that you address members of the media.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies and Press Secretary. Your Excellency and my dear brother guest, Mr. HAKAINDE H. Bali HICHILEMA, ministers from Zambia and Botswana, high commissioners from Zambia and Botswana, senior government officials, members of the Fourth Estate, a very good afternoon. I will attempt to answer all the questions that were directed to myself. Progress on the Kazungula Bridge Authority and any possibility of renaming it Zambezi. A lot of progress has been achieved, and the consolidation of that progress was confirmed today and finalized today at this working visit. The Kazungula Bridge Authority will complete all outstanding items of the location of the headquarters. And in the direction provided by the two leaders from Zambia and Botswana, the headquarters of the authority shall be in Botswana. The Kazungula Bridge Authority will also complete the assignment of the determination of origin of the CEO. The CEO, as directed by ourselves, will be a Zambian national. The Kazungula Bridge Authority, facilitated by the two ministers responsible for this from Zambia and from Botswana, will proceed speedily to complete all other outstanding issues to operationalize and complete whatever works are needed to be completed to develop a legal entity of the authority and ensure that it functions in terms of budget, payments, procedures, etc., etc. The Kazungula Bridge Authority has also been tasked to, as speedily as possible, ensure that the access roads to the bridge facilities are widened and made convenient. In the same manner, to ensure that they enhance with ICT and technology inputs efficiency, so that there is complementarity between the two, and we realize efficiency with respect to time spent and time to clear, as well as efficiency with respect, again, with the support of technology and other agencies, enhanced security around our border. The Kazungula Bridge Authority, ably marshaled by the two ministers, has also been tasked to ensure that not only do we compare ourselves to the best in Africa, but we beat all of them, beat globally in terms of efficiency and return on investment. We expect this facility to be the facility of choice for industry, passengers, everybody else. And they said they're going to do it and populate their documentation to result in everything that needs to be going into the framework of cooperation that is enhanced between Zambia and Botswana by the time we sign 2 months from now in Livingstone, Zambia. There is no appetite, there never was, and will not be, to change the name. It is the Kazungula Bridge Authority. Zambezi remains the river and others. This bridge is Kazungula. Any chance of Botswana joining Kaza was a question, but I suspected the question may have been asked, may have been intended to ask if we'd wanted to partake in the Kaza Univisa, because we are a member of Kaza. In fact, the headquarters of Kaza are right in Kazungula, Akakasani, in Botswana. But yes, we are enthused by what Zambia has done with the Kaza Univisa. We're learning, and don't be surprised if very quickly we also partake in that. The current chair of the organ on politics and defense cooperation is President HH. He has his question. I will respectfully leave it to him. I used to be the chair many years ago. With respect to Ontatile Boti's question about the G7 having released a statement that indicated that they had reached a decision to obligate certification of all diamonds going into their market to be certified in Brussels, Belgium. Indeed, we are very aware of that. We recently had a very high-powered delegation of the G7 officials visit. That visit, I might proceed by informing, was caused by my intervention, particularly when I met Prime Minister De Croo in New York on the side margins of the UN General Assembly 78th, wherein I protested very strongly to him and through him to the G7 about this continuing dialogue gravitating to a decision that has major impacts on Botswana, a leading producer of diamonds, without us. We met again, Prime Minister De Croo and his advisors, in Dubai on the margins of the climate change, the summit in UAE. But before that, he had sent his advisors to come and meet our technical team. At every point, continuing to now, despite the position they hold, we hold a variant position, a different view. We reject the notion that Antwerp or Brussels or Belgium or anywhere in the nation states of the G7 possesses the right to be the single node for our minerals. We have explained to them that we expect that at the very least, Gaborone, Botswana would be a node of RAF, because diamonds mean everything to us, less so to them than us. And the issue they are dealing with is an issue that they thought about and made decisions on to do with their conflict that Russia and Ukraine are involved in, and their determination to sanction Russia and in this way sanction Russian diamonds. That is their decision. The diamonds here, we own them until we sell them. We have most of them. We have the nicest of them. And consistent with our determination to generate a knowledge-based economy, a knowledge-intensive economy, any data accumulation, any regulatory intention or actions that would have an impact on our total economy will have to be done with our participation, including even the construct of how it is done, and co-location. We hold firm to that view. Yes, there's a risk. We're a small, almost single commodity-based economy, but we have diplomatic relations with all the G7 member states. And as always with friends, you listen to one another and you manage the risks for both. So we'll continue talking. We're getting to a level where I want to escalate this so that we deal with this at a political level, having exposed our diamond sector and all the aspects in the value chain to the G7 technical group. And we essentially educated them and demonstrated the prolific sanctity and absolute security of our diamond sector. It's important to point out to yourselves and to the G7 for them to understand and appreciate that you can't ever develop a sure provenance by locating it elsewhere. And lastly, we hold the view that if you can fight as a G7 on the side of Ukraine for its democracy and sovereign integrity, the same should apply to us if we are friends. All this is about our sovereignty, our integrity as a nation state and a people, including our rights. The question was about the uni visa. I think I've answered it when I answered the other one. Yes, we're continuing to learn from Zambia's experience with uni visa, and through the enhanced program of cooperation, we will pick up lessons and we will learn and replicate. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. At this juncture, it is my honor to invite His Excellency, Mr. HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, the President of the Republic of Zambia, to the lectern to address members of the media. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, all. Just to respect my brother, His Excellency President MOKGWEETSI MASISI, and to reiterate what we've said all along since we came, our expression of appreciation for inviting us to this great meeting, great location, and also to acknowledge cabinet colleagues from both Botswana and Zambia, and indeed other officials, the media. Let me tackle the questions that were directed at me. But just to make a comment about this bridge, where we are seated just opposite is where the pontoon used to dock to carry human traffic goods. Lives were lost here. Time was lost here. If the weather was bad, there were waves in the river, you had to wait. So this bridge is a great asset. Just to add on the wonderful things President Masisi has indicated on this question, the Kazungula Bridge Authority, to look after this wonderful asset, to facilitate trade, speed, efficiencies, precision, if I may say so, to ensure that with the movement of goods, it will help us grow our economies and jobs. But not just Botswana and Zambian jobs, but this is a regional asset. It's an Africa asset, and commonly cited during our discussions on what we call the Africa Gateway Project, infrastructure. It's a very important asset. That's all I wanted to say to support what the President has ably articulated around here. The rest, I think he captured very well. Mr. President, I also want to add our voice, the voice of Zambia, over the issue of the G7 decision, that such a decision can never be right. I support you, we support you. Fairness, equity, democracy, respect for the rule of law connotes that when an issue arises that affects somebody else, there must be a sit-down. There must be a conversation. And I think some of you may have picked this issue where in June in Paris, a number of us were on a panel with our colleagues from the developed world. And we, as Africa and the less developed countries, have made our case very clear that there has to be a reform of the global financial system. There has to be a reform of the global trading system. There has to be a reform of the global decision-making system. You cannot have Africa with 1.3 billion people excluded from the table where these decisions are made, such as the one we are talking about. That's inequitous. That cannot be right. No matter how smart our colleagues are, they can never fully represent our interests. I think if the opposite was the case, they would have not agreed to such a decision. If we all argue that unilaterally all diamonds must be inspected in Haverod, I think that would have been an issue, isn't it? So why shouldn't it be an issue with us? Be encouraged that the leaders of Africa of today understand what it means to represent the interests of those who put us in public office. That's all I want to say. It won't be easy on this one. It won't be easy on others, but this is where unit of purpose comes in. And President Masisi, the quicker the area we get to discuss, the two of us, SADC, East African Community, West African Community, AU, and other blocks, because this is just the beginning. It will move to another commodity. So the better. I think we are ready 24/7 to engage. You have our support, sir. Let me tackle my questions. Political parties being formed by former presidents. First and foremost, we're Democrats. We're democratic. We believe in the rights of individuals, citizens, groups of citizens. They are free to form political parties, to participate. But in some cases, there are legal issues that will stand in the way. Let me give an example of Zambia. Our former president, my predecessor, retired from politics 2 days after we assumed office, in writing. And automatically, a piece of legislation called the Former President's Emoluments Act was invoked just by his pronouncement that he had retired from politics. What does that mean? It means that all his benefits, all his rights as a former president were immediately invoked and conferred to him automatically. But the act also says, if such a person, such a former president, decides to participate in politics, openly or secretly, immediately they will lose their benefits. Immediately. That's the law. So in our case, the law has been applied on both sides of the question. And what our colleague has done is to go to court so he can enjoy the benefits against the law as he conducts political activism. I hope you've got a point I'm making. Let me make the third point, that it's preferable that when we retire from politics, either by law, I think Botswana and Zambia have a similar provision of 2 terms limit. 5-year term, save one, you save the second one. When your time is up, you retire. The correct thing to do is to really stay in retirement, do other things. You get bored, you can go fishing here. You can farm. Some of us are eager to go to our farms and milk our goats when our time is over, and support the next leadership to take the country or the countries forward. I think that's a moral issue around there. To say that a new leader or new leadership, remember, leadership is not the president alone. It's the president, it's cabinet, it's permanent secretary, it's everything. That they can manage the country the way we would have managed the countries when we were in office, like the two of us, and everybody must do it the way we want it or we did it ourselves, it's not correct, because we're different. Our vision is the same, but the style may be different. So I think the motivation for colleagues to come back to office, I have never found the answer to that. Maybe you know the answer yourselves. There's time for everything. There is time for everything. We know that. So that would be my answer, first as an individual citizen of Zambia and SADC and the global community. But as president of Zambia, that's my answer. As chair of the Troika and SADC, that's our answer, because we want to maintain peace, security, stability in our countries, in our region. The less disruptive activities come out of us who have been in office before, or indeed others, the better for our countries. And when our countries are stable, peaceful, secure, we can focus all our energies on the developmental side of the equation, economic side, economy side of the equation, investment, trade, jobs, business opportunities creation for social support, to support the sick, the weak, the old, the retired, the differently abled in our societies. That I'm a great believer in, President Masisi. And when I am asked by former leaders, not just in our two countries or elsewhere, for my opinion, I normally render a straightforward opinion that stay in retirement, there's a lot you can do. Life doesn't come to an end when you are not the president of a country. Why do we produce children? Why do they inherit? Why do they take over? Sometimes, me, I'm a headman, President Masisi, in the village. I'm a headman, right? I took over from my grandfather when he was still alive. I became headman. He said, look, I'm too old, take over now. It's no different. Thank you. The visa, uni visa, straightforward. Since we pushed that agenda deliberately for us, in fact, we extended it beyond the uni visa to also not waiving any, not charging any fees on other tourists, other travelers. We have seen a huge uplift in the tourism sector. Arrival numbers have gone up, occupancies have gone up, length of stay has increased, usage, of course, of the restaurant, of the bar, of outdoor activities are gone up, meaning revenues have increased. Tourist enterprises are employing more people because the business has gone up. That's the simplest answer to that question. And as the President said, I'm sure Botswana is looking at it. We talked about it in a mild way today, and I do believe that, in fact, part of what we would like to conclude is around these issues, to ease movement. Passport, every day, boom, boom, boom. New passport is full within a short time. So we need to change the way we do business. Let me be rude a bit. After all, these borders were drawn for us. We were one family, one community. This river was not a boundary in the 1800s, let's say in the 1700s, 1600s. This river was not a boundary. We just used to move cattle from here, across there, from there, here. And people speak the same language. As those ladies were dancing there, I was tempted to join, but I was watching the body language of my host. I said, let me go in for this press conference. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. May we also have, do we have questions, members of the media? If we do, may you please raise your hand. And can we confine our questions to the communique that was read, please?
Thank you so much. Mine is just a follow-up. I understand this afternoon you signed an MOU on immigration, technical cooperation. Is that moving towards the use of IDs between Botswana and Zambia? Like I know there's a conversation between Botswana and Zimbabwe. We are done with Namibia. Thank you.
Yes. And I can confirm there's appetite for that on the Zambian side. But on a more serious note, we've agreed to enhance our dialogue and consult technically, because the systems have got to be talking to one another. Yes, we are committed through these talks to discuss that. Zambia, Botswana, and when we get to the technical meetings, including the ministerial and then now presidential, this will be dispensed with. Might I just add something that the communique may have inadvertently not included, but is significant? I, as President of the Republic of Botswana, following my Robatsa story, have on your behalf invited formally His Excellency President HICHILEMA to pay Botswana a state visit. On dates to be defined by mutual consent. That, in terms of statehood, is a real expression of stately friendliness, where when he touches down, cannons, even of the British, will be sounded 21 times. There will be pomp and ceremony. And when we toast, unlike today, you may have noticed the liquid in our glasses had no bubbles. At that time, there will be bubbles. And our cooperation framework will be fully in flex and motion. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We really enjoyed having you and your delegation, and good times are to come, both in Zambia and in Botswana. Many more goods from Zambia will be on our shore, as will be in Botswana, and enhanced interaction should result in greater things to happen for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I take it at this point we've come to the end of our joint press conference, and we'd like to thank our esteemed Excellencies for honoring us with this particular moment. Your Excellencies, we wish you good health and success as we forge ahead into the new year. Thank you.
We always shake hands. Never shake hands. This is my brother from another mother.
Very good.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you, Excellencies. May we usher our presidents out. Thank you.
Kanja ka batla utuna ka bobedi ba supa dintlha kgolo tsa ba dudumalaneng mme gape ba tlhalosa gore mo dipotsong tse bobega dikgang ba neng ba ba botsa ka tsone ka bua ka kgang ya ditemane le ha tshela Zambia le tlhalosa gore le tla ema nokeng le ha tshela Botswana segolo ja mo dikganyeng tsa gore ditemane ga di ka ke tsa tsewa tsa rola tsa iswa go mahatseng a tlhabologileng segolo ya G7 go ya go tlhotshiwa le go netegadiwa teng kono mme mono gae bokgoni bo le teng mme le ha tshela Zambia le tlhalosa gore le tla tswelela le emanokeng sepehela se le ha tshela Botswana se le batlang go se dira ka jalo ba tlhalosa gore go sa direng jalo gongwe e tla re mo nakong e tlang le bone ba iphitlhele ba le mo seemong se se tshwana le sone se e le gore go sengwe gape se se latelang gore se tshwanetseng gore se ya go netefatsa ko magatsheng a tlhabologile mme tautona a tlhalosa gore the Kazungula Bridge Authority headquarters di tla nna ko legatsheng leno la Botswana mme moeteledipele kgotsa the CEO wa lone e tla nna motho wa letso la legatshe la Zambia e le dingwe dikgang tse re ntse re di utlwa ka kwane mme e itseela gore lone loeto la tiro kgotsa the official working visit ya ga tautona tota HAKAINDE HICHILEMA ga le hele le gano e tla re ka moso a tswelele jalo ka lone leeto lone le la tiro a le mono mme ke tsaya gore jaaka ba ntse ba go buiwa re sologetse gape gore mo tsamaong ya nako jaaka tautona Dr. MOKGWEETSI a tlhalosa gore ba tla tsamaya ba nguna kgotsa ba bua gore a mme go ka se dirisiwe kgotsa tsone di-IDs go tlola one melelwana wa Botswana le Zambia jaaka re bone go dira ga legatshe la Namibia mme mo nako ya gompieno go sampe go na le dipuisano gore re dirisaniwa gareng ga legatshe la Botswana le Zambia ga go itse ba dumalane mme ke sengwe se e leng gore ba eletsa gore go se ka nna jalo ka ba tlhalosa gore yone melelwane e leng teng ke melelwaneng e le gore gongwe e ne e direla jalo ke ba bokolone mme sengwe se nka se tlhalosang gape ke gore ke tlhalosa gape gore tautona Dr. MOKGWEETSI Masisi o supile gape gore o laleditse tautona wa legatshe la Zambia re HICHILEMA go tla leetong la semmuso mo nakong e tla bolelwang e le dingwe dikgang tse re di utlwa ka kwana mme dikgang di dintsi di buile tsa tirisano mmogo gareng ga mahatshe a o mabedi mme ka gore rialo re tla tsamaya ntse re tlhotlha yone the communique e le gore e ne ntshiwa ke mahatshe o mabedi gore e raeng jaaka ne re bona tona wa legatshe la Botswana o itebagatse le dikgang tsa boagedi mme ana mokgethi le motshwarelela tona wa tsa mahatshe a sele wa legatshe la Zambia jaaka le ene a ne a ba monana yone kgang yone ke dikgang tse e le gore re sologetse re tsamaya re di bona mo go diragala ka kwanong ko kgaelong ya Chobe mo motseng ona ka Kazungula mo nako ya gompieno bo tautona ka bobedi ba tla bo ba emelela ba tsamaya jalo mo tsatsi le le tletse ka ditiragalo ba buisana ka dikgang tse di ka thusang tirisano mmogo gareng ga mahatshe o mabedi go buile ka dikgang tsa tirisano mmogo mo dikganyeng tsa leruo melemo jalo le go tlhokomela leruo ga bua ka dikgang tsa botsogo ga bua ka dikgang tsone tsa immigration tse ke sa go di bua mme makere go tswa mo go nna le badiri ka nna ke makere kwano ko Kasane ko Kazungula bridge tiro re dirile re tla tsamaya re ntse re gotse dikgang jaaka mahatshe o mabedi ba tsweletse ka go dira botsalano ja bone ka kwano ke make gore ka re tswela o lebetse BTV News jaaka e gotisa dikgang tsa tse di diragalang ga mahatshe a mabedi legatshe la Botswana le legatshe la Zambia nna ko Kazungula ke onthatile Botime Benson le Kgomotso ba tla go tsaya ka boripana go tsamaya le wena.
The road to destiny is not paved with brick and tar, but with vision and determination that unveil over time who we truly are when we get there. The Ministry of Transport and Public Works has embarked on a journey of transformation to enhance the efficiency of transport system in the Greater Gaborone area. This journey of the Greater Gaborone Urban Transport